Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
We don't like children anyway.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with them.
Oh my.
There's only two things that children are good for: soup and stew.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know.
so today is Talk in an Elevator Day, also known as Make Strangers Uncomfortable Day.
Oh, I try to talk in elevators all the time.
Oh, I do that just by existing.
I enjoy making people uncomfortable without fucking in the elevator. It's just a riot how weird people act. If you haven't done it, do it. You'll love it. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Oh my.
Oh, shoot. That's what I forgot.
Oh no, we're all doomed.
No, nope, doesn't affect anyone who's already here.
So who's on the chat?
Let's see.
I haven't even looked.
On the side chat. Oh, Jyuni?
Hi, Jyuni.
Atypical asexual atheist.
On the side chat. Oh,
Wait a minute.
Yep.
There
Yeah,
we
we're
go.
echoing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
That's okay. Ah,
All right. Well, let's avoid the awkward silences if we can. That is an interesting name, atypical asexual atheist.
The awkward silences are the best part about not talking in an elevator.
that's true.
Hey, listen, I don't have to do anything special to make strangers uncomfortable. Being on the autism spectrum, just being me tends to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel that way too. So, I got my COVID booster today.
Oh boy.
So,
Oh, I got mine a little bit ago. That was not fun.
Yeah, I got mine earlier this week. I think Tuesday.
actually, the third one I didn't react to at all. The second one, well, the first and second one, I don't really know if I had a reaction or not, because if I did, it wasn't anything worse than a bad allergy day.
Okay.
Which is one of the problems I have with COVID is that aside from the fever, all the symptoms are things I experience with allergies.
In there.
Yeah, the allergies don't reach in deep and wreck your brain or some of your other organs and things like
Yeah.
that.
Well, but see, the problem is I could have it for a couple of weeks before I'm even aware I was exposed to it.
I got the
seemed to be right on top of it when you got it this first time.
What's that?
You seemed to be right on top of it when you got it this first time here.
Well, when I got it, I went and got tested because I knew we had been exposed to it. So, we're back.
At the dialysis center, they're all over us with every vaccine. I'm surprised we haven't got a monkeypox vaccine yet.
That's because it's the smallpox vaccine, and I don't think that's a mass production right now.
Okay,
I heard there's like 800,000 doses out there somewhere.
somewhere. I saw that article.
I heard that most of those doses are in storage in Denmark,
Okay.
so that there are actually only something like 1,000 doses actually in the U.S.
Now, I was vaccinated against smallpox in my very early childhood. I wonder if it's still good.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing because I know it was one of the things I had to have in elementary school.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think even my ex was vaccinated against smallpox. That was 1970.
Oh, everybody on the planet has been immunized against smallpox. That's how they got rid of it.
I thought they quit doing the vaccinations when they declared it eliminated.
I'm not certain about that, but that hasn't been that long ago.
I do not have a smallpox scar, so no, not once it has been eliminated, people didn't get it anymore.
Okay, but
Okay.
yeah, the question that Diana and I are having is that if you had it 40 years ago, is it still good?
Yeah. Or in
I
my
have-
case, more than 60.
I have no idea.
Okay, so
and
I
we have
think,
Sloth Girl and Lone Wanderer joining us.
oh
Can
boy,
however-
oh boy, oh boy.
And however, tell you
Well,
if you,
Lone.
And Sloth Girl says we've had our first confirmed case of monkeypox in Minnesota.
I
Oh,
can,
joy.
however, tell you if you haven't updated your antivirus in over 4 years, you probably should, let alone 40.
Yeah, they were encouraging everybody about 2 years ago, about 4 years ago, to go get a new whooping cough shot because that
Yeah.
was starting to go around, and they said people pretty much lost their immunity on that.
Yeah, and as Jyuni's saying, if you're going to be exposed to a kid that goes to school, you can pretty much expect to bring it back to you.
Oh, good grief. That means
Well, if you teach your children not to take things that aren't theirs,
Yeah. Teach your children well.
try that one on the Republicans. And nothing indoctrinate our children to be Nazis.
Excuse me.
Christian nationalists, at least. Depending on the Republican. Not every Republican is a Christian nationalist.
No, just all too many of them. And then you've got the Republicans singing the praises of Christian nationalism, and I think we know who I'm talking about.
Listen. Personally, I want Wizards of the Coast to sue Marjorie Taylor Greene for slandering the good name of Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd she do this time?
Well, every time I hear the abbreviation of her name, I'm thinking, wait, what does Magic the Gathering have to do with
Well,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Who's having the meeting?
Speaking of slimy Republicans, I don't know if anybody else saw the article. It seems that Joe Manchin struck a deal with Chuck Schumer about some Democrat. What the heck does Manchin want?
He wants more free money from the coal companies and to be put back in office for the rest of his life.
Oh, okay.
He's got a big yacht to pay for.
Yeah, not all that much then. What are you doing, honey? What are you reaching for?
Wait, he lives in West Virginia. Where is he sailing a yacht?
Who knows? But he's got one.
West Virginia is landlocked. It's not even on one of the Great Lakes.
So what? People have transport. They can
what-
get to a port.
What congressional representative ever spends time in the state they represent?
There you go.
Hey, West Virginia looks nice. I mean, it's not as good as Pennsylvania, but it looks nice.
I hate to say it, but when I was living back in Milwaukee, my congressperson and my senators were always back in town checking things out and having town hall meetings and all that kinds of stuff on a regular basis. Russ Feingold made it a point every year to visit all 72 counties of Wisconsin. So there are those politicians who actually do their job. And I wish you guys would start realizing that.
Yeah, there are some. It's sad that it's the exception rather than the general rule.
I don't even know if that's true. I suspect not. There are some very, very driven people who have purity in their heart for why they're doing the job.
Speaking of politicians and running for a certain state, there's a certain New Jersey resident that I really would like to not be running. So if that New Jersey resident is listening, please stop running for Senate.
Dr.
I-
Oz, we can't stand your ass. Get the fuck out of here. Stop pretending you're qualified to be a senator. You hack.
I really want to know who's falling down on the job. I thought that was supposed to be not something you could do. Am I just idealistic or some shit? I don't know.
You mean what? Living in one state and running for another?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called carpetbagging. And he got around that by buying a house in Pennsylvania. Nobody said he lives there, but he bought a house in Pennsylvania and has all his addresses attached to that.
Okay, because I thought you had to at least spend some time in that address. But
You got to be a property owner.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Now, see, the way to fix that is if people just didn't vote for people who didn't live in their state.
Well, unfortunately, I think this particular guy has name recognition.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking Oz votes, is a Turkish citizen and votes in Turkish elections. I don't think.
Oh, I saw that Spicer comment. Yeah.
He, as far as I'm concerned, he has a gigantic.
Saw one about no pronouns in the Bible.
Well, technically, she said the Constitution doesn't have pronouns, which could be taken either way.
No, it can't. The very first word is a pronoun.
No. I think she meant the Constitution as an entity doesn't have pronouns it uses to refer to itself.
No.
Either way, it was a stupid comment.
Yeah.
No, somebody else said. The same woman said the Bible doesn't have any pronouns, and
Yeah, I pointed out that what is it, the I am he, whatever that is. And
Yeah.
we are we, and we are all together.
Or the first few chapters of Genesis.
Yeah,
I am that I am.
Well, how about the 10 Commandments? I am the Lord your God.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, people were basically letting her know what an idiot she was, like, over the last couple of days. Because she had a bunch of tweets like, this has no pronouns, this has no pronouns. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like literally the first word of the Constitution is a pronoun. What are you talking about?
well, she obviously doesn't know what a pronoun is. She should have paid attention in English class.
Listen, I thought everyone should have just tweeted Schoolhouse Rock's pronouns, the pronoun song at her, but
I thought a pronoun was a word that got paid for naming an object. No, huh?
Yep.
That's a lousy pun.
that's
I'm
not
really-
the worst joke I'm going to hear all day.
You'll have to go
If
home.
she didn't do it, I would have. Oh,
Listen,
Ega.
it was funny.
Yep. So,
Shit.
It's like I tweeted something about The Handmaid's Tale, and like for 2 days, my Twitter feed was chaotic.
yeah, be right back.
And a lot of irrelevant whataboutism about 1984.
Okay.
I decided to have my bacon egg sandwich tonight instead of Saturday. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Only three ingredients didn't come from my garden. It's always nice to be able to make something that's mostly something that I've sourced from myself.
I didn't know that the bacon bush was in season yet.
Oh yeah, the bacon bush is in season. No, that was one of the ingredients I had to buy. Bacon and the bread and then the mayo were the only things that were bought. I made green eggs too.
Did you make the ham?
Boy.
I had bacon.
But if you have a, never mind.
Yeah, I know green eggs and ham. I get the joke. I've heard it every time I mention it. It's pretty good. I just take like a sprig of basil, sprig of rosemary. I throw in some, usually like moringa or something, and some green onion. Just blend that together. I sometimes throw in some pepper, like a habanero. Mix that in
Well,
with the
getting
egg.
all fancy.
All right, if you threw in some parsley, sage, and rosemary, you could have invited Paul Simon, and Art Garfunkel.
Yes.
Fortunately, I don't have any at the moment.
I don't know why I got those two names mixed up. Maybe because I was thinking of the Futurama duo Cylon and Garfunkel.
Dying over there?
Yeah, I wish I'd hurry up.
Sure, you really want to hurry that up?
When I'm in pain, yeah.
I can dig it, Diana.
You accidentally grew pumpkins.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I wonder
Okay.
if that happened the way we accidentally grew corn one year.
How do you accidentally grow corn?
Well, for Halloween, my sister had decorated with the colorful dried corn cobs,
Yeah.
and apparently the squirrel stole them and apparently tried to hide one in my dad's front garden. Because next spring we had a couple of corn stalks come up.
Neat.
Yeah, squirrels do things like that. Just like
Oh.
I had someone tear up a permit today. Right, Akina?
Probably could have used that as popcorn.
Yeah, well, my dad was really an exceptional gardener to the point that anything that hit the soil was going to grow. One year, my sister had a habit of tapping her pipe out on the windowsill. So one year we actually had a 3-foot-tall marijuana plant growing under her window.
Oops.
It reminds me of my grandmother used to have a store, maternal grandmother, and she rented out rooms above it. And she kept talking about someone's lovely flower until one of the local police came around. And it's like we're looking for someone who had a marijuana plant. It's like no, that's a lovely flower.
Oh my.
I just planted some more sorghum and some cantaloupe today. Not sure if the cantaloupe's going to make it, but yeah, give it a try.
What are you going to do with the sorghum?
Well, I'm thinking about a few things I want to do with them. I want to try and pop it like popcorn. I want to try and cook it like rice. I can use it as feed for my chickens and maybe my parrot. I want to try, if I get enough stalks, I want to try and boil that down and make the syrup.
Oh,
Good to follow.
Smart Girl, she's over that for a little while, but she's been all over me lately. I don't know if she's worried about me or what it is. I hadn't been feeling too well for the last couple of months, so that might have done part of it.
Oh, well, cats do tend to know when you're upset and not feeling well. So do dogs.
Yamu. I'm starting to get some strength back, so now I've got to clean up everything that's turned into a mess since April.
Well, since I've had to keep jumping up, I've had you on speakers, so Sammy is hearing Sylvia. and keeps trying to figure out how he can crawl into the TV set to get to her.
Well, I have speakers on, so Athena hasn't really noticed anything. She's also napping. All right. Now that we can finally just end that.
Yeah, that'll happen, definitely.
What did the Proton say when asked if she needed to check a bag? No thanks, I'm traveling light.
Wah, 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 wah.
They always ask how many people does it take to change a light bulb. Shouldn't the question be more how many it takes to change a heavy one?
Yeah.
Well, don't you hate it when your ear all of a sudden itches?
Well, how many light bulbs does it take to change a person? There you go. Flip it around.
Most people I know are rather resistant to change.
I was just before the stream started. I was watching one of Oren Ra's videos where he's talking to a young Earth creationist.
Oh, was it Ken Hovind?
No, it was some other random guy.
Okay, it was probably much later then.
Yeah, those are all sorts of fun. He tries to get them to defend their positions, and they can't.
That's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
We all love a good train wreck.
As kids.
Never tried to defend it in addiction.
And if people didn't love a train wreck, I wouldn't have had a channel.
Yeah, I don't have too many of those here.
Train wrecks.
Yeah.
I miss Gomez Adams with the train layout on the table and the dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to wait because it doesn't. If you blow up the bridge before the train gets to it, that's just not enough.
Yeah.
Well, he did have pretty good timing. Almost as if he had years of practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of the train tracks around my area.
I wish they would get...
The town that I used to live in up in Michigan, they actually pulled up all the train tracks like around 2000.
Yeah, it's a
That's when you know a backwater town has definitely died.
Yeah, it's a legacy bike trail now, and
yeah,
the train station that was there was actually the one that they used to model the one in the cartoon Dumbo.
Okay,
it's an interesting little history lesson there.
Yeah, can we stop getting Disney to make live action versions of their movies, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, I agree.
How many of them have you gone to see?
I've seen Milan on Disney Plus.
Have you watched the specific movies that you're talking about right now?
I watched 2 in the high seas.
Because there are people who enjoy those very much. Just because you don't like them doesn't mean they should get rid of them.
No, but if I don't like them, they should get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And apparently the cat wants Disney to get rid of them.
Meow. Meow, meow, meow. Damn cat. You're the damn cat. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
also
got
wish
freight trains that come through here.
I also wish Disney and Paramount would slow down with the Star Wars and Star Trek series, respectively.
It's not so much the speed they're going, but rather the quality.
Well, we don't need like 6 dozen series a year. Like, give us like 20 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian's about the only thing they've done that's right so far.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett wasn't bad, but I think a lot of people didn't watch the Clone Wars to understand what was going on with the character.
I tried watching that and really seemed all that great.
Well, it just seemed out of character from the movies. Like there was a lot of character development that went on that took place off screen.
Yeah, it would seem a series like that, I would be expecting to see, what led up to them being the character you saw in the movie.
Or how they stopped being the character you are in the movie in this case. So
Yeah, well, depending on if it was before or after, yeah.
have I watched the new Baymax cartoon? Baymax?
Oh, yeah, we watched those. Those were good.
I'm gonna have to assume no because I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't seen the Baymax cartoons.
Yeah, Sloth Roll and I watched them. We really enjoyed those.
Are they on
Okay.
Disney?
They're on Disney Plus.
Sorry, I've been going through the DuckTales reboot.
It's another one I should have liked, but I just couldn't seem to get into.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, since they brought Don Carnage in, does that mean Cape Suzette is in the same universe?
I don't know.
Because we know, like, St. Canard and Duckburg are, like, right across the river from each other.
Yep.
But I always thought Cape Suzette, even if it wasn't the same universe, wasn't the same time period.
Yeah,
Actually,
Baymax from Big Hero 6.
No, I thought there was at least one character that had crossed over between Tailspin and DuckTales.
In the original, I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Tailspin and
didn't see
DuckTales.
I didn't see all of the Tailspins, so and it's been a long time at that.
No, I don't think there were any crossovers between those two. You had Darkwing Duck and DuckTales being a crossover with Launchpad Egg McQuack.
Well, that and his hatred of Gizmo Duck.
Yeah, that's true. He showed up in there too.
Well, Launchpad McQuack pretty much established that they were close enough that both cities used the same airport.
But yeah, I just don't understand why Don Carnage shows up in the new DuckTales because he wasn't there before.
A good cartoon I got into was Bunnicula. If you haven't seen that one. I'm not sure where you can watch it though right now.
Actually, a fun adult animation one, especially if you like Bob Burgers' as Central Park on Apple TV.
Why shouldn't you make fun of paleontologists? Because you'll get your ass kicked.
Moo.
But no, the reason I've been trying to catch up on the DuckTales cartoon is because I remember watching the Disney afternoon growing up.
Yep. Yeah, I watched the DuckTales all the time. But I had kids at the time, so I actually didn't even have a choice. But the original DuckTales was pretty good. I've only watched like the first couple episodes of the DuckTales reboot, but actually it was looking quite promising. And, I really liked that for once Huey, Dewey, and Louie actually have individual personalities instead of being carbon copies.
Wasn't the first time we've done that. I'm trying to remember when they first did that. Oh well.
They definitely did have the same personality in the original DuckTales, though.
Yeah. More or less.
Oh, good grief, that's terrible. Why are helium, curium, and barium the medical elements? Because if you can't helium or curium, you bury them.
All right, that was it. It was the Quack Pack that they first really had individual personalities.
Listen, we can all agree that Tailspin, as being the most diesel punk of the Disney afternoon, was the best one.
Didn't really much get into Tailspin. I was more into Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, still better than Goof Troop.
Yeah. I've heard mixed reviews about that Rescue Rangers movie they did. I haven't seen it yet for myself to really judge.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it just when I'm doing something else. Or since I have the next couple weeks free now that the college courses are done. And don't need to start back to work until August, second week of August. I can just sit down and watch it, but
Yeah, I heard on the positive side of that Rescue Rangers movie, I heard that the felt very much like an homage to
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And could you imagine just how much problems they had getting all the copyrights they needed in place to do Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I don't think they really had that much trouble. They just had to give equal time to both companies.
Well, they had more than just Warner Brothers and Disney in it. They had some Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah, well, actually, just getting Disney and Warner Brothers to agree for the characters to appear in the same movie is more of a feat than you realize.
Especially since the movie was neither Warner Brothers nor Disney. But come on, we've all wanted to see Daffy Duck and Donald Duck do a duet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was really well done.
But I don't think they'll be able to pull off just that level of copyright. Not coordination again.
I want to see Superman versus Captain America.
I think, well, Marvel and DC used to occasionally do things like that, and they would do just like bizarre crossovers. Like I remember reading once in the 90s a comic called Lobo the Duck.
They did do a Superman Spider-Man crossover at one point.
But I don't know if they're going to do that now that Marvel's owned by Disney.
Ah, yes. HR Puffin stuff. Apparently that creeps Sloth Girl out. That was another one that I didn't really have a choice in watching because one of my sisters had a crush on the guy in there. The teenage boy.
Okay. All I can say is there was a lot of acid involved in that show.
I would agree.
I think that's much. I think it was the case for anything made by Sid and Marty Krofft, including Land of the Lost.
Mm.
Well, HR Puffin stuff shows you where Sid and Marty Krofft got started. Because McDonald's had actually approached them about making some mascot characters for them. And then McDonald's canceled it before they ever got produced. But then you remember Big Mac and Mayor McCheese and the McDonaldland characters?
Yeah, huh?
Well, the Krofft brothers sued McDonald's for ripping off their character designs, and they won. There was an out-of-court settlement for an undisclosed amount, but it was enough for the Krofft brothers to buy their own production company.
Okay, then.
It's a very 70s set of shows, is all I'm going to say. And honestly, I think a lot of people in the 90s were like, go back and watch that high. It's scary.
Yeah, it's probably where they came up with the name.
Actually, Godless Summer, that what you're suggesting is the pattern for most comic book teams up. Because even like I remember, there was one where the Punisher and Spider-Man or more recently on Netflix, Daredevil and the Punisher have to team up.
Well, back in the 90s, Marvel had a whole comic that was just called Marvel Team Ups, something to that effect.
They also had
And
the
that was pretty
amalgam.
much the formula for every issue was that, yeah, two characters would meet up, they duke it out between each other, and then they join up together to beat somebody else up.
Yeah, they also had the Amalgaverse, which is where the two whose universes just clashed and fought each other, resulting in this amalgamation of characters as a short run series.
Like Lobo the Duck.
Yeah, like the Lobo the Duck.
I'm sure many people don't want to remember Howard the Duck. So.
Я достаю некиберодие.
I never liked Howard the Duck from the very beginning in the comics. It just
It's
The
not
only,
a good
the, only,
character.
the only people that don't want to hear about Harold the Duck are the people who did Ishtar.
It wasn't a good character, but it was still an amusing mashup.
I did read the comic book where Howard the Duck meets God.
That would be interesting.
And I know a lot of people at Marvel don't want people to remember that one of their earliest movie attempts was Howard the Duck. I don't think it was their first one. I think they have a couple before that.
it wasn't the first one, but I do remember seeing that one. I don't think I bothered to watch it all the way through. I think I just gave up about halfway in. I certainly don't remember how it ended.
I'll be right back.
Listen, the one crossover I still want to see is Kolchak the Night Stalker, Scooby-Doo, and just to appease some people, the crew from Supernatural.
Well, they already did in a crossover with Scooby-Doo and Supernatural.
Well, Supernatural's a terrible... Sorry, I don't like Supernatural. But...
I did like the Kolchak series, so I would probably watch anything that character shows up in.
Yeah, apparently there was an episode of Supernatural where they go into a Scooby-Doo universe and meet the Scooby-Doo gang.
Yeah, and there's one where they go into an alternate universe and read slash fiction featuring the Doo brothers.
I did see one where they went into basically our universe where they are just actors.
I think that was the one. It's like, they know we're brothers, right? It's like, I'm sorry. It's just, normally I would like that type of show, but Supernatural was just... I think it didn't do the mystery element well.
I didn't really like how they kept just using people for the monsters for the most part.
And that
I felt they really... they should have shown us a little bit more.
For the most part, just the way CW shows are written, it's just not very good most of the time. Also, wasn't there a cartoon series that was Batman teaming up with various less popular DC characters? Or just as popular DC characters sometimes? The Brave and the Bold?
That sounds familiar, but I don't quite remember it. Batman and Robin did show up in a couple of Scooby-Doo episodes. Or actually, they made like Scooby-Doo movies featuring Batman and Robin.
Yes, I remember those. I also remember Mama Cass being on it. The Osmonds.
Well, yeah, they did a whole series that it was a different celebrity guest star every week.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, the Harlem Globetrotters did a mess of stuff with them. Kitty needs to understand that he is very much loved, but that does not mean he is getting my dinner.
Oh, you're no fun.
Listen,
well, he doesn't really want it anyway. He never eats people food. He wants to get in my plate, but if I give it to him, he's not going to eat it.
Don't you understand there are two types of food in the world? At least from your cat's perspective. There is food for the cat and food that can be shared by the cat. Food that can be shared by the cat is occasionally food the cat doesn't want.
I am surprised by how little human food he's interested in if I try to give him a taste. He likes yogurt. He likes the
Tina.
incredible port wine cheese, and that's really about it. Oh, and bread. For some reason, this the cottage bread that Sloth Girl likes to get, he goes nuts over the bread. The
Well, this
smell
one
of it
likes
drives
bread.
him nuts, and if I give it to him, he would just like eat half a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
I had a cat that would eat popcorn.
My sister had a cat that would eat olives. Are you going to show yourself on the other side of the screen, Athena? Or are you going to stay behind my back?
Now, I
You see a
remember
tail.
Scooby-Doo with a lot of musical stars and that, but I don't remember WWE.
Are you going to purr into the microphone?
WWE. No, I don't remember any WWE guest stars on Scooby Doo.
I do remember there was a WWE cartoon at one point, or
Yep.
WWF at the time.
Yeah, I've been WWF. I do remember that cartoon. Yeah.
I remember that one, but that's a Family Guy episode.
Yep. There was also a Scooby-Doo series that had that Scrappy-Doo in it. That Vincent Price was a character, kind of a mentor character who showed up briefly in each episode.
Remember when they did the Scooby-Doo movie? Scrappy-Doo just gets a lot of hate, so... I mean, the character was kind of annoying, but I'm not sure it deserved that much hate.
Yeah, I didn't like the character at all, but... Boy. So, what have people had got going in the real world?
Basically, I have a whole bunch of errands to run tomorrow. I mean, I still have to get my picture taken for the driver's license. See what else we have to do. Pick up a whole bunch of drugs. I'm always picking up drugs, but none of them are any good.
Yeah, they won't give me any of the good stuff either. Certainly nothing that'll help me sleep.
Yeah.
So, had my
give-
first appointment with my new doctor today.
Oh boy.
Good.
So I had met her once before when I first started going to the clinic. Just
So
like
how
a 15-minute interview thing, but
Oh, Jyuni started HRT.
Did it go well?
Yay.
Congratulations, Jyuni.
Congratulations.
yeah, apparently she's doesn't quite have the same ranking or that as my previous doctor, so unfortunately not going to be able to help me with the sleep meds at all.
Oh,
Bummer.
So at this point, my last recourse is going to be to request a new GP and see if I'll get some help that way.
Have you considered getting a cat to purr by your ear?
yeah.
Well, I have a cat that comes and cuddles on the bed with me every night when I go to bed, but that's just that alone is not doing it.
Purple and Friends, is that what we're going to call the stream now?
Oh, hey, Theo.
All right. Yeah.
So how goes the gardening, Mage?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, been pretty busy with that. Actually, got my next video pretty much in the can, and I'm working on the one after that. I'll be doing a garden tour sometime at the beginning of the month to show off a bunch of stuff.
Wow. Wow.
So, Jenny, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, I was at the doctor for a bunch of tests this week, and everything looks good chemically, and I do not have cancer.
That's a good
Well,
thing.
that's excellent news.
Yay, that's a good thing. But you are pregnant, right?
Yes. No, it actually was good news because I've had a spot on my lungs for some time, and they've been watching it, and it hasn't grown, and they've decided that it is non-cancerous.
I guess that's a good thing, I hope.
Well, lack of cancer is generally a good thing, yes.
Kittiness, what are you doing? And why are you doing it?
Athena, are you going to help me continue to program tomorrow by attacking my arm? And eating my important papers and shredding them up?
Oh, yay.
Now, Athena, I do need to get you some better toys. What is the curse of the glitter?
That you can't get rid of it?
Yep. Yeah, that if you have anything with glitter, you will continue to find glitter all over your home for the next 3 years.
Oh, is this like cat hair?
Kinda, yeah.
No, because the cat's there every day and throughout its life. That's why the cat hair is always there. Glitter is something you introduce, for once, making a little craft, and then you don't have it again for 10 years, except for what's all over the house.
Yeah, glitter is mysteriously self-replicating.
Yeah. I still think the best use for glitter ever in world history was that guy who makes the glitter bombs to deter porch pirates.
Yeah. I saw some of those, and it's like, yeah, if that glitter bomb goes off in your car, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jyuni, I had seen an interview or something where somebody had mentioned the instances of increase in this particular thing or increase in that particular thing. For example, if there's something induces a 20% increase in the incidence of breast cancer, that sounds really bad. But if you're starting out with a 5% incidence, a 20% increase is 6%. Now it's not all that bad. So you really got to look a little further than that first sentence.
Oh, absolutely. People play with statistics all the time, and that's one of the biggest things that I see medical people doing. They seem to have their own agenda, and they will just plain lie about a statistic. It's like the question of there's such a danger taking progesterone for breast cancer, blah 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 blah. But if you look at that exact same scenario that you just described, that was a percentage increase on a certain number of people who get it, but again, it turned out to be like a 0.5% increase.
Mm-hmm.
So
most people don't really understand how that works. Like, I have a very common autoimmune disease. It causes hypothyroidism, and there's a lot of hysteria over it if you look it up. It's like, and people are like, it's like, oh yeah, it's like there's a 25% increased risk of getting another autoimmune disease if you have an autoimmune disease already. Yeah, that's true, but I think the incidence of autoimmune diseases in the general population is like 2%. So it increases your chances from like 2 to 2 point something or other percent once you do the math.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see some really good statistics courses in, let's say, high school. Try to expose everybody to a fair or a basic level of statistics to make it through these numbers that get thrown at you. But I don't know if that would do any good or not.
I don't
Yeah.
think they would do any good. Most kids are so anti-math and science, they would just fall asleep during the class.
Happy tired. Oh God.
The disease that causes hypothyroidism is more common than the one that causes hyperthyroidism.
The TERFs GCs are well known for manipulating statistics that way, particularly around detransition issues and suicide issues in teens. They like to show that these numbers are just astronomical when it's not. They're significant. I mean, 40% of kids attempting suicide is awful. But then they'll present that number, but then they won't explain that's the number before treatment. And when these kids get treatment, that number drops to below the rate of the general population.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they just use it to lie.
You can't do. Cats will do whatever they want. The best you can do with a cat is to interrupt and redirect behaviors you don't want.
Yep. If you're really good, you might get a cat to not do something as long as you're staring at them. The moment you look away, though, forget it. Yeah, this is the fabric that Sloth Girl was saying. Your gummy bears all outlined with glitter. Because she has been crafty lately. So she made me a new bag. I don't know how well you can see it, but we have a bunch of dinosaurs here. Actually, this is the inside. It's reversible, so it's got denim and the dinosaurs.
Nice.
Denim and the dinosaurs. That sounds like an Archie band.
Yep.
Well, Sloth Girl, just remember, all that is gold does not glitter.
Sounds like a group of boomers.
And this is the outside. That one side's purple, one side's orange, and the dinosaurs are the bottom panel.
By boomers, do you mean people born after World War II or nuclear submarines with intercontinental ballistic missiles?
My age.
Yeah, now whether I am or am not a boomer seems to depend on what your source is.
Yeah, you're right on the edge there.
Yeah, because some of them include 1964 and some of them don't, so.
I'm hardly worried about a year.
Yeah, well, it seems kind of weird, though, that, being on the last end of it, I don't seem to fit into anything. Not that I ever identified with people my own age anyway. Not that I really identify with people much in general, but...
Well, I get to live in hell for the next 2 days. Our town is having their annual hoedown, the Houston hoedown, the last weekend in July. And I live 3 houses away from the main entrance.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, it's going to be quite noisy and people crawling all over the place. And during those days, you actually have to lock your car.
I was so happy when an event called the Shy Diesel Extravaganza stopped being held in town.
And they charge $15 to get into this stupid little drunk fest.
Boy, yeah. I can buy a lot of donuts for that.
Yeah, you could. Oh, God. The one good thing though is the tractor pull. That's always fun to watch.
I always thought I would enjoy going to a tractor pull.
Oh, they're a blast. You get to some of these professional level ones, and these fuckers are building these. They call them tractors, but of course they're not anymore. They will have 4 V8 engines powering these things. 2,000, 3,000 horsepower, dragging 8 tons of weight at like 30 miles an hour. Dragging it in dirt. It's just amazing. And some of them, when they let go, man, when some of these engines let go, they literally blow the cylinder heads off 20 feet away from them. It's just absolutely catastrophe. It's very enjoyable to watch.
So here's a question, since the next semester is coming up. Should I continue my refusal to pay the university money to park?
It depends on whether you want to park, I guess.
Oh, I know places where I can park for free. I just refuse to pay the university money.
Well, if you can find free parking, why pay them?
It's always been my thought that the university school is to buy all of the local city and turn it into parking lots.
Then charge people for it?
Yes, I don't know where people are going, don't know what you're going to do when they're just parking lots, but...
Minneapolis fixed that problem. Around the University of Minnesota, there just isn't any free parking.
Well, the U of M is located in such a high density area too.
Yep.
And the streets around it are some of the most important arterials in the county.
Well, and it's even worse now that they put the light rail through, because that took off parking on a couple of streets that had it.
Well, that's okay. If you take the light rail, you don't need to park.
Yep, and it would be good if more people got that idea. If people started using mass transit, of course, they put in the light rail, but simultaneously, while putting in the light rail, they cut a lot of bus lines. So there are a lot of neighborhoods where you really can't get from where you live to the light rail.
Okay, yeah.
They don't exactly design in places is for mass transit. They design them for individual cars.
Well, and the Metro Transit for the Minnesota Twin Cities, they keep trying to bill it as, have a bus instead of your second car. And it doesn't seem to occur to them that there are some people who don't have a first car.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not serving the poor neighborhoods. They're just trying to get people in from the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course. I mean, why should they care about the poor? Oh, jeez.
That's the way they did it here in Pittsburgh. Put light rail in, but they put it where the high rent district.
And if you complain, they put you with Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first moved to Minneapolis, in, 83, they actually had a functional bus system. And I had several years that I didn't own a car, and I really didn't have any problem getting around. And it was just like year by year, every year they would increase the fare by a quarter, and they'd cut down some of the bus lines. So that, by the time you got to the mid-90s, there were just a lot of areas of the city that you couldn't get to, or there was like one bus every 4 hours.
Yeah.
And they did really stupid shit, like the buses going out to the mall stopped at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Yeah, and what about the people who had to work at the mall?
Walk home.
Yeah, couldn't they have had a bus at 10 o'clock for the people who worked closing the stores to get home?
Where's my cat?
I like the one where they do have a mall and they do have bus service in that area right to the street where the mall is. But the mall's parking lot is a block or two long, and then so then these disabled people can take the bus, but they're not capable of walking the distance to the mall.
Yeah, that's kind
I
of what
get
I'm
Tina.
facing here.
Are you going to show your face on screen again, Athena?
That
Are
like
you-
the bus, even on the bus schedule, it lists one of the stops as being Walmart. But from
Yeah,
the
okay.
bus stop to the actual door to enter the store is about a block and a half walk.
Actually, I think the local transportation system has like normal bus routes, but they also have something called an ADA ride that will take you where you need to go exactly and pick you up, which costs more, but still a lot cheaper than a cab.
Yeah, they've got a service here called Dial a Ride, and we're trying to get qualified for that. But yeah, basically, we've got a bunch of forms, and there's even like an interview you have to go through to prove that you're disabled before you qualify for using the service.
Hi, Athena.
Well,
Does
that's
my
all
hand
right.
is-
It's been shown clearly that when left to their own devices, people will pretend to be disabled to get a privilege. Disney had a big hoopty do about that.
Yeah,
People were, because disabled people went to the front of the line and that kind of thing. And
Hey, Neil.
people would
I did not see you come in, Neil. Hi.
get
How
the
are you?
wheelchair for the weekend and go to Disneyland and cheat.
Yeah, I know that does happen.
Hi, Neil.
Oh,
Sorry I didn't say things sooner. My hand is busy being attacked.
yep. Sammy has been feeling neglected the last couple of days, so he's been pretty much on me. I don't really know why. Not like anything has really changed recently, other than me getting dressed up to go out. So,
Sometimes I think cats just want to be affectionate.
oh yeah, I did have what was blissfully a non-event today. Was just the building caretaker seeing me coming back in, presenting female.
Oh, okay. Went
And,
well, I hope.
Not really any reaction at all. She just said hi.
Okay. I wouldn't complain too much about that.
Yep.
Well, good job. Good for you.
Yep, so that's good. I, still have to come out to the building manager because I'm going to need the manager to put my new name on the mailbox so that I can
Okay.
receive mail in both names without them thinking there are two people living here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful, Athena.
So that I can start all that wonderful process of getting all the various branches of government to recognize me, recognize a name change.
Oh, I'm
see.
sure that's going to be fun.
You are getting it officially changed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's going to be the first step.
Any trans person out there who's going to require name changes and documentation and things, better get your ass in gear and do it now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because the right wing is going to do their best to fuck with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, soft girl.
Athena, could you please try to stop attacking the wrist you have a slash across? That I'm probably going to have to explain to a doctor or therapist at some point.
Yeah, Sammy was being squirrely while I was getting dressed this morning. So, I tried to kind of pet him. I tried to play with him with one of his toys, and He got me, and he punctured my hand. So I've got one big red scab on my right hand now.
No, it's just a scratch going across the top of the wrist. And I saw it, I'm like, when did I get that? Which, given that I can sometimes injure myself pretty nastily in my sleep, isn't that much of a surprise, but this seemed to be more consistent with the scratches I've got because Athena likes to play with my hands.
Yep. I just
Kids-
take those for granted. Actually, it's gotten so much better.
Kids, I have to take off. My battery is drained.
Okay, Jenny. We'll
Later.
see you tomorrow.
Take care, everybody. Chat.
Hasta
Bye.
Take care, honey. Be good.
Love you lots.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
Don't take any wooden dildos. Like it's
Okay.
splinters.
Okay. And don't use any steampunk sex toys.
Yep. I'm actually doing a lot better on the cat scratches and puncture marks because Petunia has settled down so much since we've been living here that, she used to be. It used to be that nobody could pet her without her trying to bite them. So I pretty much had bites and scratches every day from her.
As long as they're just small, it's not a big deal. It's just... I don't want to show it. It's just on the
Yeah.
left wrist going across the top. So.
Now, as long as it's not on the bottom of the wrist, so they start asking you if you've tried to commit suicide.
I hope it'll heal before I have to go back to work or go back to classes again.
19 pounds. Okay. Pretty fair, kitty.
Who's 19 pounds? Oh, Sloth,
Petunia.
the sloth girl about Petunia. Yep. Yeah, she's a big girl. But, yeah, she's not fat. She's just part Maine Coon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, even the vet checking her out just said, everything's really solid. And for a cat her age, she doesn't have any extra weight. Not that we know exactly how old she is, because, yeah, she came from the shelter in Michigan.
Oh, Athena, you have a birthday coming up.
I am so glad that Sloth Girl rescued Petunia from the shelter, because I think very few people would have been that patient with a cat that tried to bite so often.
Okay, then.
Most people, she would have been back in the shelter repeatedly, and they would have just wound up getting rid of her.
Yeah, I could work with a cat like that.
I don't...
Yeah,
I
I've
don't-
lived with cats all my life, so I understand them pretty well, and I can expect it, if they've had a difficult life, especially if they've lived with someone who wasn't kind to them, I can have a lot of patience with them.
I worry when I accidentally step on Athena. She has learned, however, that when I do that, she gets treats, so she'll head on over to where I keep her treats. Or sometimes she'll just make the noise like, meow, trying to and then head on over to where I keep her treats. It's like, no, Athena, that doesn't work that way.
Yep. I had a cat that literally got used to that same thing, that she would get treats if I stepped on her. So I swear she was intentionally trying to put her tail in the way.
Cat not dumb.
Actually, I think I just fed Athena.
Yeah, Sloth Girl swore she was not going to have another animal. And I don't know what provoked her to look at the Humane Society or the shelter website. Excuse me, but yeah. Just a little over 2 weeks.
No, I don't plan to have another cat, but you never know if one will show up out of the blue.
Oh, that never happens, does it, Sylvia?
Yeah, that didn't happen to me 3 times in New York.
Yeah, twice I took in a cat who would show up. My Celia was the first one.
Jyuni, I just want to say I love that background.
Yeah, way back, I forget, sometime in the late 80s, Sloth Girl and I did share an apartment. And, as we were moving in, we brought up the couch, went back down to the truck, bring up some more boxes, and we come back and there's a cat laying on the couch. So it's like, oh, so we have a cat now.
Okay.
I called him Data. Everybody thought it was a Star Trek reference, but it actually wasn't. I called him Data because he got the idea that if I was sitting at the computer, I wasn't going to be moving for several hours, so he'd come up and get in my lap. And he had also figured out, this was back when I had the Commodore 64 that had the big black brick power supply.
Okay, nice and warm.
Yeah, he had figured out that after I turned off the computer, that was going to stay warm for about 3 hours, so he'd curl himself around it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing like a nice warm laptop. Actually, I've known people who bought laptops just for their cats.
Okay.
Well, if not for Sith, why is it made of warm?
Yep.
It's not me. Well, it's not like the cat would understand that. So.
But why would you buy a laptop instead of just getting an electric heating pad?
I don't know.
So the cat can go browse Google. I don't know.
Unless electric heating pads
Hey,
are
Doc.
Doc, how you doing, sweetie?
Unless electric heating pads are more expensive than laptops now.
Nah, you can get an electric heating pad for $20-$30. Yeah, Sloth Girl keeps trying to buy toys. Don't buy toys for cats. They're really a waste of money. The cats will be more happy with bits of your garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Bottle caps, empty toilet paper tubes. That's all you need for cat toys.
Sylvia likes the rings that you have on the milk bottles.
Yep, that was one of Guapo's favorite.
Yeah.
Your professional permits that you've left on the dresser.
Okay.
Well, Sammy just likes the crumpled balls of paper because they make that crunchy sound when he jumps on them. Yep, balls of tin foil. He's big on the sparkly ones, and that's like the Hershey's Kisses and the candies that come in the foil.
Mm-hmm.
I just accumulate the foil wrappers, and then I'd roll them all into a ball.
Aren't there some types of garbage that can be dangerous for cats, though? Like, I've tried to keep Athena away from bread twist ties.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, you have to be careful.
Purple, I understand that you have corrupted Xander because you sent Kate some of those cat treats in the bags, right?
Oh, yeah.
And now I guess every time Xander hears crinkling, he thinks he's going to get treats.
Yep.
Xander?
Yeah, I sent some Xander's Bionic Dance's cat. I had sent her some of the cat treats and Sammy's favorite treats, and they come in like the poly bag,
Mm-hmm.
the stiff poly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no way to open those quietly.
That's diabolical. That dog I was pet
Yep.
sitting, I was trying to talk my aunt out of to stop giving him chicken bones. Like, oh, it'll be okay. They're dehydrated. I was looking it up. No, that makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, raw bones they can handle much easier than any bones that have been cooked. And Q-tips. What is it about cats that they love to chew on used Q-tips?
I don't know, but this one is, yeah, she loves that.
And the pop case bombs, I get, just the can flats at the grocery store. I always pick up a couple of empty ones of those because, one, the cats like them for beds, and Sammy likes them for scratching. And it's like, fine, let him scratch at the cardboard, and when he rips it out, I can get, unlimited free replacements.
Mm-hmm.
And Petunia likes red straws, red plastic straws. And again, I've said before, don't tell me that cats are colorblind. They have
Cats
color preferences, and especially red seems to be a big one for most cats.
aren't colorblind. Even dogs aren't fully colorblind. They can see certain colors. They just don't have the same cones that we do. Athena's telling me I'm wrong.
Yep.
From my understanding, they have a difficulty distinguishing orange and red.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't get shades as well because it really is the trade-off that generally you get either good color vision or good night vision because it's all a matter of the ratio of the rods and cones in your eyes. So yeah, animals that have good night vision generally have very poor color vision. Which is why birds can afford to be colorful, because that really doesn't attract the cats.
Sorry, I'm just remembering the day of one of the... Back in the spring when the parent birds started pushing the baby nurse birds from the nest, one flew up the window and Athena just started flying towards it. And this group, unfortunately, Athena hit the window, but she didn't get injured. It's like, Athena, it's like the window's closed.
I had a baby blue jay playing with his reflection, and then the parent came over and called him over. That was interesting to watch.
No, but she likes it if I leave the windows open in the morning, even if, or just opening the blinds so she can look out. Unfortunately, she's also taken to manipulating the blinds in the bedroom because she doesn't know. She can't determine. She only determined that sunlight and the blind should be open. She can't determine what's not in this room.
I also had a baby squirrel come up to my window. He was sitting there, tapping on the glass and looking in.
What blue color?
You were saying in purple?
Well, your shirt, that kind of teal.
Oh yeah,
Oh, did everyone hear about Bernard Cribbins dying?
If I say who, can you just assume probably not?
Yeah, I'm horrible with actors or celebrities. If you tell me a character in a particular show, I might know who you're talking about.
It was in Doctor Who. Trying to remember the name of the character.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the newer Doctor Who.
Oh, that's not gonna help then. What else was he in? That's one I'm familiar with him, but he's been in a bunch of other stuff with British television.
Well, we'd probably know it even less then.
Yeah.
Okay, Sloth Girl. So it's official now that Tony Dow is dead.
Tony, who was Tony?
Oh, Tony Dow. Yeah. Leave it to
He was
Beaver.
Wally Beaver. Yeah, Wally Cleaver.
Yeah.
Beaver's brother.
The Leave It to Beaver show's probably before your time.
Was it some kind of innuendo? Who to call him? Beaver Cleaver?
Well, I do
yeah,
remember. I do remember it was Barbara Billingsley as the mother and Jerry Mathers as the beaver.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, as far as innuendo, I mean, what was worse than the mother telling the father that I think you were a little hard on the beaver last night?
You guys familiar with Wombles?
They loved sex in the 50s just as much as they do today.
No, I don't know what Ragbra is.
And remember, if you ever read the Canterbury Tales, it's X-rated.
Yeah, Mage, you mentioned Wombles, and I did not know what they were until Stool said I was one, so I had to look them up. But still never seen the show.
So what is a Womble?
Wombles wobble, but they don't fall down.
That's Weeble Wobbles Wobble, but they don't.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, he was one of the actors in that. So.
Yeah, the Wombles were a British kids series about these, kind of somewhat magical creatures that apparently they were close enough that people would mistake them for being children or small humans, but that they would go around and collect up discarded things that people left behind and build things out of them.
So they're like the Dozers on Fraggle Rock?
Yeah.
Oh no, they built things out of radishes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doozer sticks.
Which they built for the Fraggles to eat.
Yeah.
Well, they explained that in one episode. If the Fraggles didn't eat them, the Dozers would run out of room to build.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, I love the Dozers. I also love the trash heap.
I was looking up the trash heap not that long ago.
Yeah, the trash heap was a great idea for an oracle.
And it's rat servants.
Yep.
From my understanding, she was a rejected character for Sesame Street, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Then they just repurposed it for the Fraggle Rock.
Listen, Doc Fearsome, I'm not sure Iowa exists. It's one. We need at least three fewer I states. I'm pretty sure most of us agree we can probably get rid of Idaho.
Well, not an I state, but I did have a consensus that we could delete Ohio and nobody would really mind.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'd be all over it. Let's do this thing.
I would like to take 3 hours off my drive back to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, that was originally why I wanted to do it, was just to reduce the drive time between New York and Minnesota.
Yeah,
but I floated the idea around, and nobody objected to it, including people who lived in Iowa at the time.
You mean Ohio?
Or Ohio at the time, yeah.
Well, we can get rid of both.
Honestly, I know it seems like a terribly self-centered thing, but is there really anything significant in the country? You know, once you go east from Illinois, Minnesota, or rather you go west from Illinois, Minnesota, is there anything significant before you get to California?
Colorado.
I was
Grand
going to
Canyon.
say the Air Force Academy.
Hi, Maya.
I mean, Utah would be beautiful if you could just take care of the theocracy. But I also believe you approved of deleting Indiana as part of that.
Not specifically, but yeah. Well, even if you did delete Indiana, Gary would still be counted as a Chicago suburb, so.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help me any, so. As long as you give people time to get out first.
Well, yeah. Hey, I have been all about, building a refugee camp in Minnesota for everyone who wants to escape other states.
But why Minnesota?
We just need to pool some money together. We can buy an abandoned mining town up on the Iron Range.
Not sure buying an abandoned mining town is a good idea as you think it is. Because abandoned mining towns are known to get things like sinkholes.
And
Well,
those
yeah,
lovely heavy metals.
Yeah, you got to watch more for the artificial hills of the mining waste there. The taconite waste. I forget what the toxins are in that.
Yeah, the world's second largest coal mountain is in Shamokin, Pennsylvania. And they're proud of it. It is an eyesore, though. Okay.
Well, I had been considering anonymous.
Okay.
Speaking of Panda, I need to get that Python, whatever it is. Das kommt mir Spanisch vor.
You need
Ich
to
spreche
get a
nicht sehr
python.
gut Deutsch.
You need to get a python. I hear Florida has
no.
a surplus of them.
But I don't believe you can run Panda on that type of Python.
Haven't run into a Python yet.
Well, go to python.org and download it. The latest version is 3.1, 3.10.
Yeah, isn't there a town in Pennsylvania that there's been a coal mine burning under it for like the last 50 years?
Yeah.
There is more than one town like that in both Pennsylvania and West Virginia, and probably any other places that have mines. But the famous one that you're thinking of, Centralia, not far from Shamokin, is indeed what you're referring to.
Yeah, and they're estimating it will continue to burn for about 300 years until it burns out the remaining vein of coal.
Well, it's very hard to put out mine fires once they get started like that.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a bit easier here because iron ore doesn't burn as easily as coal does.
Send down bags of aluminum powder. That'll do it.
There are multiple reasons why it can't be put out that easily. including lack of regulation of the coal mining industry.
Yeah.
Now, there's a Centralia in Illinois, too, where there was a mining disaster, but it didn't have long-term effects. Centralia, Washington, unless I'm mistaken, is a famous labor dispute, isn't it? Now, there is a reason why Centralia, Washington is famous, and I think that's it.
When I was in New York, I was living in Syracuse, and Lake Onondaga had been reported to be the most polluted body of water in the U.S. for 12 years running. No one had seen a fish in there for over a decade.
Oh, jeez.
And then we were only about half a mile or half an hour drive from the famous Love Canal.
Okay, movie. And Jen with one N lives up there.
Yep, I've chatted with her about that a couple of times. Jen with one N apparently grew up in a house that was built on one of the reclaimed sites that they knew it was polluted, and they still approved building a housing complex on it.
And Jer, if you look up International Workers of the World in Centralia, Washington, I believe you'll find what I'm referring to. But unfortunately, it's not been the basis for the movie and one of the Silent Hill video games.
Yeah. I've been going on with Soft Girl about they didn't move the bodies because she's been playing City Skylines. And when her cities get big enough, she removes the cemeteries when she gets the crematorium. So she's removing the cemeteries and she's building housing on where the cemeteries were.
Yeah.
We're talking about Poltergeist?
Yep.
Well, if the game had a haunting mechanic, that would be interesting.
Well, apparently the swimming pool scene where they were using real skeletons for that.
Jeez, my mother loved
really?
movies.
Yeah.
cared.
Cheaper than in fake ones.
I never cared for them.
I was never much for horror movies either, but my fiance just loved them, so.
I like real horror movies.
I mean, I think my favorite horror movies have been The Ninth Gate and Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Well, just whenever she was watching a horror movie, though, I had to ask her that, is this one that you're gonna want to watch seriously, or can I pick at it the whole time through?
Also, Alien and Aliens are pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially with the message of listen to the woman in the first place, you freaking morons.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked Alien and Aliens. Yeah, because they seem to go back to the more classic horror movie thing. That you knew the monster was always lurking around, and it was just a matter of when it was going to grab who.
And the second one was basically a zombie story, if you get down to it.
Yeah, I've heard that more than once.
But I'm just saying, if they had listened to Ripley in the first place, the crew of the Nordstrommo would still be alive.
Yep.
Well, they might have died by the time Aliens
Well,
takes place.
The problem that they didn't know about, though, in the first one was that the android had actually been programmed to bring back an alien life form and that the crew was expendable to accomplish that.
But Aliens feels a lot less like a horror movie, more like a sci-fi adventure where everyone dies. And Athena, in Alien, everyone dies except the smart woman and her cat.
Yeah, well, the cat's the smartest one of the group.
And as for Tucker and Dale versus Evil, that's, I don't know, some people would say that's not really a horror movie. I would say it's legitimately a horror movie because it's more psychological horror than anything else, but...
I saw a great meme going around Twitter that it's got the cat carrying the baby alien in its mouth, and it says Alien, the short version.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I've also seen the size of the one that's like, I am the perfect killing machine. You have no idea what you're dealing with, and it's just Jonesy carrying the baby alien in its mouth.
Yep. Yeah, actually, the original Star Wars was a space western with a couple of scenes from World War II thrown in for the battles.
Kind of wish I had done the scrap script for the third, where they would have had Newt grown up.
Yeah, I think they probably just wanted to take a slightly different direction. But honestly, did they really need anything after Aliens?
Probably not. Yeah. When you get down to it, the way they ended it, Aliens, it pretty much wrapped things up pretty well, really.
Yeah. Wait. Predator versus Alien was something they pretty much had to do.
Now that was in its own separate timeline and universe.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't necessarily directly connected to either of them.
Funny thing is, it was just a kind of a joke to put that alien skull into the ship in the first place.
Yeah, the fans just picked on an Easter egg.
Well, fans will do things like that. I've seen people pick apart Fallout 76 to determine where the next console Fallout game is going to be. The current favorite is New Orleans, though.
I haven't played any of those games. That's okay. We've already survived longer than I expected.
If they make any more Star Wars movies, Luke's going to need a walker. Well, maybe.
Oh no! Remember they are able to de-age him now. So let's use CG Luke.
Well, yeah, bringing people back from the dead, so reversing the aging shouldn't be an issue.
We don't need Luke playing Star Wars. We don't need Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker right now. He's done that enough. We need a movie where we can get a good actor that doesn't do voice lines, and we need to have him voice the Joker. In a live-action Batman movie. Is the lavender asleep?
Do you have to poke her with a stick again?
Yep.
Moo.
Okay.
That's good because my stick's not long enough. It only reaches halfway through Ohio. See, again, if we got rid of Ohio,
Well, at least it'll probably go through the parts of Indiana where I'm not. So
well, it's going to all be completely north of you if you look where Minnesota is. So
I don't know what Athena's doing.
Cat stuff.
okay, Sloth Girl thinks my brother should play Luke Skywalker then.
Bum 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 bum.
Oh,
That's the. Wouldn't that be the next Firefly movie? Actually, I don't think there's ever going to be another Firefly movie or series.
unfortunately,
not.
no. Yeah. It is sad that that one got treated so badly. It clearly should have gone another season.
Fox.
we
Fox didn't
do-
really.
Go ahead.
Fox didn't really know what to do with it, and they wanted to try this. They wanted a sci-fi comedy, which Firefly was not.
Well, I think somebody at Fox was trying to kill it from the beginning.
Yeah.
They did everything they could, constantly switching the night and the time slot so it couldn't build a following.
I think at best what we can hope for is like 20 years sci-fi will do a reimagined version like they did with Battlestar Galactica.
Well, Moo, Jyuni.
Possibly.
Yeah, best they could hope for is a reboot. Hopefully not a shitty one.
Well, the reboot. The thing is, with the new reimagined Battlestar Galactica, I remember watching like the original with my dad, and yeah, it was cheesy, it was campy, but it had heart that the new series didn't.
Yeah, it had pretty decent writing, and considering they were producing it, on a weekly basis on a television budget, you really couldn't have expected anything more from it.
I like the Battlestar Galactica reboot. It's just at the ending they left a lot of things unanswered.
Well, the problem was I think they had it to shift because the way the tone was going, the humans just should have gotten wiped out. The Cylons didn't really need to do much, except continue to mess with them to have their own paranoia do them in.
It was just kept then introducing more and more questions into the story, and they never really answered any of them. Is my only issue.
I didn't really watch the reboot, so I can't say much on that. Although I remember what was the bit they did in between, like Galactica 1980 something, where it was just a couple of them stuck on Earth.
Oh yeah.
Listen, the only episode of that show that exists is The Return of Starbuck.
Yeah.
There is no other episode of Galactica 1980 that was ever made. Just like Star Trek V doesn't exist. Now, Sloth Girl, let's actually just have the Emperor from 40K come in and kill them all.
Well, Sounds like nobody has really a whole lot to say, so why don't we just keep this one a short one tonight?
Yeah,
Alright.
oh yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
Well,
Kind of low energy
I'm,
today.
yeah, I'm in the middle of doing more sleep deprivation experiments on myself, so I think I've gotten a total of 9 hours sleep the last 3 days combined.
Yeah, and I'm just don't have anything interesting coming up for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, Mage, you said you've got a movie in the can or a video in the can that'll be coming out soon.
Yep, did one on tomatoes, and I'll be doing my garden tour first before that. So
Okay,
see those things.
Can we count on you doing releases on a regular schedule then, or are you gonna try to do them the same time each week?
Yeah, I'll be trying to release them on Mondays when I can. The garden tour will probably be on a sometime within the week, though. It won't be on Monday, since we're starting the first of the month on Monday.
Okay. Well, I'll just be doing my regular stuff again next week. Be here on Wednesday noon, Thursday at 10 p.m.
Sounds like fun.
So Diana, what
Yes,
about
dear.
you? When are you going to be doing your streams this week?
Let's see. Next one ought to be Sunday, unless I do one earlier. I don't know. But count on one Sunday. Get the old crew together and let's just do all the stuff. And then, of course, if I do it right, there will be the Wednesday. So Sunday at noon Eastern, Wednesday at 7 Eastern.
Yeah,
And
you know,
we'll just-
I tend to miss your Wednesday ones because even if you are around, that also is the only time that Granny's streaming.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you guys are streaming on top of each other there.
Well, you almost can't not step on each other now.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
really can't find a time slot that there isn't somebody running. So yeah, I just have to listen to the reruns.
Tayo korostu.
Okay, well, with that said, then I would just like to thank all my Patreon subscribers. I think Jyuni left already.
Yeah.
Yep, Jyuni the Apostate, Skits Crasher, and I have been forgetting to include Kitty. I think I forgot to include Kitty all last week, and she's been sending me money on Patreon now. And Ox and Robert
She gets
X.
to feel better.
Yep. Ox and Robert X. Yeah, surprisingly, we didn't really need any moderators tonight. The bots did not show up for a change. Let's hope that holds. And of course, Diana here, Lavender Lady.
Who the hell is that?
Yep. Mark Caesar, Greg Hartwick, and Dog. So, like I say, I appreciate you people, helping me pay for the internet and so forth, so I can just keep on doing this. And with that, we will bid you all a good night.
Moo to all.
Be excellent
Later.
to each other and